Recently, I had a friend reach out to me and say that she was going to be shutting down all of her social media for just a certain amount of time because she's in school right now and she found it to be way too distracting. And so she just shut it all down. And instead of her having to do that, I recommended something that I do because I just hate for somebody to not be on social media that really likes it and enjoys it just because they felt like they were being too overcome by it or super distracted. Now, don't get me wrong. If you feel like that is the best choice for you to get rid of it, then by all means, get rid of it. However, I just feel like instead of having to take things out of our life that we truly enjoy, we just have to manage them a little bit better. It's just like eating, right? You don't have to never eat ice cream ever again. You just can't eat ice cream every single day. So instead of her having to maybe give up social media or something she really likes, I offered a suggestion that I do, and maybe that would help her out. And I think it's worked so far. So let me share what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you do not know me personally, you may not know that I actually went to school for my master's degree in special education. And when I was doing that, I took a lot of courses that were related to applied behavior analysis. Now, when you go for behavior and you study behavior, you learn a lot about how to control behaviors in a good way. I mean, you can definitely be manipulative with it, but when you have a code of ethics, like I do, you don't do it to be manipulative. You do it to help somebody's quality of life. Now, for me, when I was in the school and I was practicing, I learned a lot about timers and how they can help, especially with people that are having disabilities or on the spectrum, because a lot of behaviors are very much guided by structure. So let me share with you exactly what I mean when using a timer. For an example, I'm a writer. And so when I'm writing, I let as much time go by as possible. But when you have 3 kids like I do, you can't just sit there for hours and hours upon hours and not be interrupted or not have to stop at a certain time. So for me, I allot myself different times throughout the day. And that's my time for writing. Okay, so even if the kids are at home and my husband's at home, like, hey guys, I'm going in my office for like an hour. No one bother me. I got to do some stuff. But I set myself a timer because if I don't, I will either get stuck forever and just sit here and I could be on my computer forever. Honestly, I'm someone that doesn't get bored. So I could definitely go on and on and on. Or what happens is I will just keep starting and stopping and doing this and doing that. If I feel like I have unlimited time, I will not focus on the task at hand. I will be all over the place. And so I feel like that's where we get and let social media take over is when we're stuck at something that we're doing, we'll just be like, all right, well, I'm going to scroll on my phone. Or maybe it beeps because an email came in, but then after your email, you go over to TikTok or you go to Instagram or you go to Facebook or Pinterest or Reddit or whatever it is that your favorite social media site is. It's very easy to get distracted. So I find that when you have time frames, and you set a timer for the time frames, you're much more likely to stay on task and do what you have to do because your brain is saying, hey, wait, I only set a 30-minute timer. I don't have the time for TikTok or to check my phone or nothing. So you can literally sit there and be like, all right, 30 minutes, put it on your timer. It doesn't have to be on your phone. There's timers all over the place. There's timers on your iPad, on your computer. If you have a Google or an Alexa or whatever, you don't have to use your phone for a timer. There's lots of choices. Microwaves, ovens, they both have timers, most of them. So you do not have to use your social media to use the timer either. I personally just use my phone. It's fine. I can put it across the room or even on my desk, but I know, girl, you only have 30 minutes. So don't look at that phone. In 30 minutes, I will reward myself by looking at the phone. So when the timer goes off, I'm like, ugh, all right, I wrote for 30 minutes or I answered my emails or I did whatever it is that I wanted to do for the 30 minutes. Now I can go take my phone, set another timer for maybe 10, 15 minutes and go scroll on TikTok or scroll on Instagram or whatever I want. But when the timer comes on, the good thing is if you use a timer on your phone for that, it will pop up right on your phone and interrupt what you're doing because the timer is going off. So that's actually a really good stimuli for your brain to say, oh, timer, put your phone down, like stop the timer, put it down. It definitely has to do with some self-discipline, but the timers for me definitely work. I set timers before I have to cook dinner. So if me and my kids are all just hanging out, we're kind of watching movies or just messing around, or I am like, this is my time to be on my phone or whatever, before I get sucked in and I'm saying, oh, you have to eat dinner at 5. And then before I know it, I look at my phone, it's 5:58 and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't even cook yet. I will say to myself, okay, what time is it? It's 3:44 right now. So I will set a timer for like an hour and a half and be like, all right, at an hour and a half, I have to get up. I have to start cooking dinner. I have to do what I have to do. So if I don't set the timer, time just goes away. But if I set the timer, I know, okay, I can mess around and not have to look at the time and not freak out because I know my timer's set and ready to go. So I can kind of just like let loose and live. And then when the timer goes off, I'm like, oh, sorry, I gotta go cook dinner. No matter what I'm doing. Luckily for me, I have an Apple iWatch too, so it connects to my phone, so the timer can literally go right off on my watch. So even if my phone's not on me and I'm like out playing soccer, which is rare, but I could do that, my watch will go off and it'll be like, oh, time to go cook dinner. And I'm like, oh, shoot, gotta go. So it's like such a simple tool, but it literally works if you set yourself up for success. So just try out timers, try timing things out. You don't have to time your entire life, but once you get into these places where you're like, I have to write a paper for school, so I'm going to sit down and be like, okay. And honestly, if you do a lot of research on the internet, you'll find articles that have different studies, but mainly, even as adults, we can only really work for 30 to 45 minutes before our brain starts trickling down and thinking about other things, before we start getting like restless in the tasks that we're in. So it's okay to take a break every 45 minutes, right? Or even every 30, whoever you are as a person, you know you best. You might be ADHD, ADD, you just might be sitting in an uncomfortable spot, whatever it is. After 45 minutes, I say, is a pretty good amount of time for working. Give yourself the 15-minute break, right? So it's kind of like when you're in high school. They usually have 45-minute blocks, roughly, and then you have 15 minutes before, classes, bathroom, whatever you got to do. Obviously, these times are loose. I'm just throwing them out there. But for me, I like to do, 45 minutes of work, 15-minute break, and then get back on task. So I feel like that works best because then it's like you're on the head of the hour again. So let's say it's 3 o'clock. I set the timer for 45 minutes. Work for 45 minutes straight, I'm focused, and then after that, I have 15-minute break. So if I need to go to the bathroom or get some hot chocolate or scroll on TikTok or read my book or whatever it is that I want to do, I have 15 minutes to do that activity, and then when 4 o'clock hits, back 45 minutes on the timer, and then I go. I mean, again, it all varies because if you have kids like I do, you can't always do it back to back like that. But if you're working from home, and that's like, I find like a really good structure. When I worked from home, that's what I did. It was like 9 o'clock, work to 9:45, break for 15 minutes, 10 o'clock, back on task or teaching a class or doing whatever it is. But I find that structure like can really work. So I just recommend trying it out. And then if you're someone like me who has kids and busy life and craziness, you can do like 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes at night, like spread it apart. Or if hey, I'm like really tired, but I have to check my emails. Set your timer for 15 minutes. Whatever you can do in 15 minutes, that's what you do and go. And if you're really interested in this one, I think that you might be, if you hate doing chores like dishes and laundry and all that fun stuff, this one is best for chores, right? At the end of the night and you're laying there, you're like, oh, I just want to go to bed. I don't want to do nothing. 10, 15, 20, whatever increment of time, 5, whatever you want to do. You set your timer for 5 minutes, whatever you get done in 5 minutes to swoop up the counter, make sure everything's a little bit more presentable for the morning time. Whatever you feel you have in you, after the timer goes off, you're like, yep, I did something. You feel accomplished because you did something. Instead of nothing, you at least got the mail off the counter. It's going to make a huge difference tomorrow when you come downstairs and you're like, oh, thank God, like at least the mail's not everywhere, right? Or hey, at least I threw all the dishes in the dishwasher. Even if I didn't get to start it, at least they're in there, they're ready to go. So as soon as you wake up tomorrow, throw the soap pot in and throw it and you're good to go, right? It's just basic things like that. And I feel like if you really just give it a second, try it out, you'll find that it can make all the difference in your life. And definitely, if you don't already do this, I highly recommend timers for children, like hugely. Because when you're at the park and you say, hey, only 10 more minutes, and then you get talking to people or things happen or whatever, one more slide time, you can literally set the timer on your phone in front of them, show them timer, and then when the timer goes off, bring it right over to their little ears and be like, oh, sorry, it's the timer. The timer says we have to go. Because it's not you anymore. It's not you. It's not dad. It's not uncle. It's not Grammy, whoever. It's like, ooh, the phone went off. It's just the time to go. We have to leave. I'm telling you, the psychology of it, it's not you anymore. It's not like, oh, mom's making us leave. It's like, oh, the timer went off. Darn. Okay. I'm telling you, try it out. If you really do need to leave in 10 minutes, set that timer. Timer went off. Bye. Gotta go. See ya. Peace. It's not me. It's not dad. It's the timer. I'm telling you, try it. Try it out. Try it out. Try it out. If you have any ideas of suggestions to help keep people on task and not get distracted by social media, definitely leave them down below. We can all help each other out. And I definitely want to hear what other people are doing as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and thumbs up if you like this video. All of the interactions that you do help me out immensely. So I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.